So, today we're talking about a game that's been circulating the past few months, Moonfrost. It had everything a cozy game lover could want: gorgeous pixel art, farming, building, relationships, exploration. Honestly, it looked like it could have been one of the next big cozy RPGs. But underneath that, there was something a lot of players did not expect. Moonfrost was actually built as a Web3 blockchain NFT game, and over the last year, that decision led to hype, confusion, backlash, and eventually a huge pivot away from crypto altogether. So today, we're breaking down what Moonfrost was, what went wrong, and why the community ended up so divided. Now, listen, I am not an expert in NFT, Web3, and blockchain. So, although this does sound quite controversial to me as a cozy gamer, I want to emphasize that I'm simply just sharing what I found out there as a piece of cozy gaming news. I am not judging or coming to a conclusion just yet in this video. However, I do want to put an emphasis on the notion of trust and transparency between game developers and potential players. You'll see what I mean later in the video, so let's get into it. Let's start with what Moonfrost originally promised. At its core, it was pitched as a shared world life sim RPG. Think farming, tending crops, decorating your home, exploring a cozy town, meeting NPCs, all in beautiful pixel art. The developers talked about building land, farming, crafting, and hanging out with friends in a peaceful, stylish world. But here's the twist: Moonfrost wasn't just a cozy RPG, it was a blockchain powered game. The team introduced a token called Frost, and the idea was that certain in game items would be NFTs. Things like pets, land plots, cosmetic skins, and maybe even resources. You wouldn't just unlock items, you would own them. You could trade them, sell them, and supposedly benefit from the game's token economy. For people who love Web3, that sounded exciting, but for cozy game players who mostly want comfort and vibes, this was where things started to get complicated. Things ramped up when Moonfrost launched its first big NFT sale, the OG Mystery Box. They minted over 1,800 boxes at around $150 each, which added up to roughly $275,000. Every box guaranteed a limited OG Gnome NFT plus a chance to unlock items that would supposedly give players financial benefits later, like bonuses tied to the Frost token. So, very early on, the game created a financial ecosystem around collectible items before the game itself even existed. And the messaging was very Web3 focused. Promises about ownership, earning potential, staking, scarcity, that immediately put Moonfrost in a very different category from something like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. And this is where players really started speaking up. A lot of people discovered Moonfrost through its art style and wholesome aesthetic. They saw farming, pets, and cozy pixel worlds, but many said they weren't aware it was a blockchain game until much later. Some players even said they signed up for alpha testing or the newsletter without being told that it involved NFTs. That made people feel like the Web3 aspect had been intentionally hidden. And for cozy game communities, NFTs are always a red flag. Many players associate them with scams, speculation, and aggressive monetization, all the things cozy games avoid by design. So, as soon as people realized Moonfrost was crypto driven, the tone shifted dramatically. Words like shady, money grab, and why are you putting NFTs in a cozy game showed up again and again. The core issue wasn't just blockchain, it was transparency, or the feeling of lack of transparency. Behind the scenes, things weren't going smoothly. Balancing a cozy game and a Web3 ecosystem is extremely difficult because you're basically building two products for two totally different audiences. Traditional gamers want immersion, story, and charm. Web3 investors want assets, utility, and return on investment. Eventually, the developers admitted this wasn't working. So in late 2025, in November, Moonfrost made a huge announcement. They were completely dropping blockchain from the main game. They left their Web3 platform, scrapped NFTs and tokens from the core gameplay, and decided to relaunch Moonfrost as a traditional Web2 premium game on Steam. Although the game is not listed yet in Steam, I just checked. It's still showing in Epic Games, and there's a notice telling us that it is still a blockchain slash NFT game. At the same time, they moved all their crypto features into something new called Frost Arcade, a separate platform where Web3 supporters could continue using their NFTs and token based items. So instead of mixing cozy gaming and crypto, they split them apart. But that pivot created a second wave of controversy. Players who had bought NFTs, some spending hundreds of dollars, felt abandoned. They said the developers collected money, hyped up blockchain features, sold exclusive items, and then removed all the Web3 elements from the main game anyway. People called it a cash grab. Some demanded refunds. Some accused the team of dangling valuable NFTs while knowing they'd eventually phase them out. Others said the pivot proved the whole Web3 pitch was unstable from the beginning. So now Moonfrost had two unhappy audiences: cozy gamers who didn't trust the Web3 angle, and Web3 gamers who felt blindsided by the pivot. So, where does this leave Moonfrost now? The Steam version might actually be good. The art is stunning, and the world has potential here. If it fully focuses on being a cozy life sim, it may finally find the right audience. But the bigger lesson here is about trust. When a game promises real money assets, token economies, or NFT profits, it creates financial expectations. Expectations that cozy games aren't built to sustain. And if you pivot away from that, early supporters feel betrayed. Moonfrost tried to be two things at once: a cozy farming game and a crypto driven economy. And those audiences were never fully compatible. But more importantly, the messaging wasn't always clear, and transparency is everything when real money is involved. Personally, I love cozy games, and I'm glad Moonfrost is focusing on being a proper RPG. But I also think its story is a reminder that when developers mix vibes with crypto speculation, it can lead to a lot of confusion and a lot of disappointment. So that's the full story so far. I'll definitely keep an eye on Moonfrost's Steam release because it still looks beautiful, and I genuinely want it to succeed as a cozy game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Were you excited about Moonfrost originally? Have you ever heard about it? Did the Web3 part bother you? Or do you think the pivot was the right move? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Cozy Gaming News.